About a couple weeks ago, I left my one product design job, and then next Monday, I believe, as I'm filming this, I will be starting a new product design job. And in this time that I've had a couple weeks to like kind of relax, reset, and just take some time for myself. I've also had some time to just think about the current systems that I have in regards to how I manage my day-to-day tasks, projects, and things like that. And I want to go over what my current system is or my previous system, and then look at how I've changed that system into the new system that I'm going to be using moving into this new role. And of course, we're gonna hop into Notion because that's how I manage my day-to-day work. I've been using Notion since like a long time, probably 2018 at this point, and it's how I've managed my personal life and how I manage my day-to-day work. Here you can see we are in the first or the original system that I have. I'm just going to quickly go over just the high level view of what everything is, and then we're going to go into the specific details that I have to explain some of the thinking behind how I use the system. So high level overview, I just had some like themes that I would remind myself to try and do every single week. And then if I had any top of mind theme, like again here, any current projects in flight that I need to address or be mindful of. And then I have my today. So my today is has adjusted a lot. I don't even think today really should be there anymore, but what happens here is I have these general to-dos here. They don't really have a day assigned to them, and that's how I organize everything. So I wake up in the morning, I would plan my tasks for the day, and that's how I managed everything. I went day by day just because that works best for me. And so these were kind of like general to-dos if they don't have a specific days, and I didn't have time to do it that specific day, and so I was trying to save it for like tomorrow or the next day. As you can see here, this is probably where I interacted with the most. I have this thing called past stand-ups, which is where I document and throw all of my past weeks into it. And as you can see, this is what I'm talking about. So every single week, I have like the week title up here, and then I have a button here which will create a new toggle. So as you can see here, there's a new toggle. So I'll make another one to just show what happens. But a new toggle is created. I'll put the month, day, and year, and then create checkboxes to have the tasks that I need to complete for that day. And if I didn't complete a task for the day, maybe they'll move into the next day, or if they kind of linger around a little too long, if they keep moving day to day to day, because maybe, I don't know, I'm procrastinating or something, I'll move it into this section over here. And then as you can see, I have this page here, which is like all my past stand-ups. So if you go into it, you can see all the past stand-ups, and it's again, just a repository of all the stand-ups that I did. So as you can see here, when I was talking about my past stand-ups for that month, I kind of just essentially highlight all of this and just throw it into this page. And then this page gets thrown into this, I guess, page/table. And then here are some other areas of my page where I, starts to get more wiki-like, where I document or where I can keep my notes and create some type of organization. So some general project notes. This is kind of like general. I have my career growth stuff here when I have like my one-on-ones with my manager. I have a weekly reflection here is where I would essentially reflect in the week of like what I was able to do, what I was able to accomplish, which is kind of significant, and I will talk about a little bit more in the next system and how I adjusted that. So these two things are, I guess, relatively really important, even though they're general, and then just kind of like other docs. Yeah, I have my resignation letter here because I had to write my resignation letter because of just, that's what happens when you leave a job. And then just some other stuff. And then as you can see here, it gets as like kind of chaotic in that like, it reminds me of a room where like you'll organize a room one day and then you'll start to pile certain things here and there. And over time, things just kind of get a little bit chaotic, a little cluttered. I think this is a really good representation of that. I've had this system that I've been using for about more than 2.5 years. I've enjoyed it, but I've realized that there's just some things that are not serving me and I needed to shift or think about a different way to do things. So before we get into it, I first want to give a shout out to my friend who gave me their Notion system and how they manage projects. And basically it took a lot of inspiration and a lot of the foundations from that system and applied it to this new system that I have. Of course, I've adjusted it here and there to address the things that I need for my tasks and things that I need to accomplish for my job. But you know who you are, and here is your shout out, and I want to give you credit in this because I think that's important. But let's get into it. So here, as you can see, this is the second system or the new task system that I have as I'm going into this new role. And so as you can see here, I don't have like a top area with like general tasks anymore and then like a bottom area with a button with the toggles and all that stuff. Here I have a lot more use of databases in Notion. So this is where I manage my day-to-day now. And then I have a project section, which I think is really important. I'll talk about a little bit more. And then down here, like as you can see, there's not as much, but here's like the wiki stuff that I have, my career growth, weekly reflection, some admin stuff, any onboarding, things like that. But here, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about this task management, and that I can create new tasks, right? Like here's a new task for today, and when I create a new one, it will create a new, like add the date to it, and these are the things that I need to address today. What's really interesting about this one, and I like, because I think it will give better management of like more than just my today, but like within the yesterday and the tomorrows, is I have this 3-day system. So I have this last 30 days to help look at any tasks that I haven't really completed or done and see if they really need to be completed or done. But then here I have my yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So, you know, of course I'll be looking at my today a lot, but like if there's any tasks that went into yesterday, maybe I need to actually bring them in today, so I'll do that, or maybe I will ignore it and let it kind of get into this last 30 days if I need to, depending on the situation at hand. And then of course I have tomorrow, and that, like, let's say at the end of the day, I haven't completed all my tasks, I need to move it tomorrow because I know I need to complete it tomorrow. So that is what the 3-day does. And then I have my done like section, of course, where it's just like all the completed tasks that I have, and then I have like all of my tasks too, which is just a list of all of my tasks. So what's really great about this new system too is that my tasks are now associated with my projects. Previously, I had this work journal that I kept, and I would be documenting kind of like what I've done, the things that I was able to accomplish, any notes, thoughts, or things in this like work journal section that I had in my Notion somewhere else. It worked, it was fine. I was okay at keeping up with it, but I think what was really difficult about it was that I wasn't able to like, I had all this stuff that I was already doing, right? Because I was already documenting like what I'm doing with the tasks that I do in some way, in cases or form. But now I can actually create those relationships. So in this new task, as you can see, I have the category. So like, what is it associated with? A due date, which is either today, usually it starts with today, and then a deadline if there is a deadline associated with it. And then I can create an association with the project that I'm working on. And so I think one of the things that is really important and key here is that everything that I do, any task is going to be associated with the project, even if it's not a project, like a product design project given down to me, but it has to be associated with the project. So for example, I have like a 90-day plan, I have my onboarding here. Those aren't necessarily like projects given to me by someone, but those are things that I know those are the themes that I am going to be focusing on for maybe a couple of weeks. And so those tasks are going to be associated with those projects. So everything is a project is basically what it is. So if I create new projects, you know, I'll have my list of projects, and then I have nothing here. Okay, so I think another thing that's really cool because of this new project system and new task system for database is when I do my weekly reflection. So like I said previously, I had a weekly reflection that I would write and kind of just like document and journal about the week, any accomplishments, any highlights, lowlights, things like that. So when I create this, as you can see, I have a fake one here, but I'll have like a theme or a title for it. And then here I have the tasks that I will be able to associate with that week. So Here, I like to have any related projects. So if there's any specific themes or projects that I worked on that week, this is where I will add that. I'm experimenting with the Notion AI and to maybe summarize anything so I can have quick glimpses of what I've written or what's going on, and then any highlighted skills. So like things I like to write are like stakeholder management or project management or your presentations or things like that, to get an idea of like what skills I was able to work on and essentially work on that week. And if I need to like talk about, hey, you need to work on this, I can be like, well, actually this is some evidence to show that I have worked on this or done these kind of things. So that's kind of why I have the highlighted skills. And then the week is, this is associated, like I'll have a start date and an end date of that work week, and then to just give me an idea of like what week this is associated with. And then I'll also be able to filter this this table or this database to show the tasks that are associated with that specific week. So, and then I'll write highlights, lowlights, any other thoughts for the week, and that's how I handle my weekly reflection. But as you can see, that's how I create the association between my projects and my tasks to kind of bolster my weekly reflection, bolster any documentation, and bolster the relationships between the things that I'm able to accomplish and do with the projects that I'm doing, and then of course the documentation that I have in association with those things. So those are my systems. The first one that I had with my previous job, and then the new one that I'm going to be using in my new job. And of course, like I haven't actually started using it, so I'm gonna have to wait and see, use it, and then realize if I need to make any changes or iterations to it, because there's something to be said about like, I have it and it exists, and I think it's gonna be great, but then actually using it is gonna be a whole other thing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are interested in this like system, let me know, and then potentially I can create a template out of it. But I'm excited to use this. Honestly, I'm really excited to use this new system and see how it will work.